Put salt in your shoes today, and do not merely walk. Stride into the path that calls your name. Stride into the power that has waited patiently inside you. Stride into the fire of your own becoming. This salt, this small grain of wisdom and seasoning of soul, is not for flavor alone. It is the grit, the spirit, the stubbornness that transforms clay into stone, water into waves, and ordinary days into sacred revolutions. There was a time, maybe not too long ago, when you stared at your own feet and wondered if they could carry you any further. You bent your head, weary not from walking but from doubting, heavy not from steps taken but from dreams postponed. There was a silence inside you that echoed louder than the outside world, and you thought perhaps the journey was not for you. But I tell you this day, put salt in your shoes and let your soul remember what your spirit has always known. You were made to rise, made to move, made to shake the dust off your past and dance forward with purpose. Salt has always been sacred, ancient and eternal, used to preserve, to purify, to protect. It is the earth's oldest whisper, the body's holy trace, the kitchen's humble king. In salt lies memory, tears wept in sorrow, sweat poured in labor, blood shed in birth and sacrifice. Salt is not glamorous, but it is essential. It is not loud, but it changes everything it touches. Put salt in your shoes and let it remind you that every step you take is not in vain. You are preserving the path, purifying your pain, protecting your peace. There will be days when you wake and the world will feel like too much. The alarm clock will ring like a summons to a life you didn't choose, and you'll wonder if your dreams are just figments of midnight lies. But even on those days, especially on those days, put salt in your shoes. Remind yourself that greatness is not a sudden leap, but a daily decision. Remind yourself that transformation does not always roar like thunder. Sometimes it whispers like prayer, steady and unseen. Salt has weight, and it is this very weight that will root you when the winds of life try to carry you off course. Do not fear the weight of your own calling. Do not fear the ache in your back from carrying the legacy of those who came before you. Their blood, their struggle, their triumph, it is in your veins. You are walking with more than your own feet. You are stepping with the footsteps of generations that dared to believe that better was possible. So when your knees feel weak, when your heart feels hollow, pour that salt into your shoes and feel the ground receive you. The earth will know your name, even when the world forgets it. It is easy to be discouraged, easy to look at your current station and believe it is your destination. But salt teaches us that what is today does not dictate what can be tomorrow. Salt cures meat, turns it from fleeting to enduring. So too can your present struggle be cured by faith, persistence, and boldness. Salt your shoes with belief, belief that you are meant for more, belief that no failure is final, no delay is denial, and no defeat is permanent unless you refuse to rise. You have a fire in you. Yes, you do, even when it flickers low, even when it smolders beneath sorrow, even when it hides behind hesitation. It is there. You are not a candle in the wind. You are the sunrise, inevitable and unstoppable. But even the sun needs fuel, and your fuel is found in the small daily rituals of hope. Salt in your shoes is not just metaphor, it is a mindset, a commitment to walk with purpose even when the road is rough, to step with grace even when the journey is jagged. You are not too late, you are not too broken, you are not too old or too young or too anything to do something great. You are exactly what this world needs, dressed in your ordinary body with your extraordinary soul. And the only thing standing between who you are and who you could be is your willingness to begin. So begin with salt, begin with faith, begin with a refusal to stay where you've been, a defiant joy in the face of uncertainty, a bold yes to your own becoming. Let every grain of salt be a promise to yourself, a promise that you will keep walking, a promise that you will not shrink for comfort, nor settle for survival. You were made to thrive. You were made to rise. Let salt speak to your feet and say, keep going, child. Don't stop now. Don't you stop. There is something about salt that lingers, just as your presence lingers in the hearts you've touched, just as your dreams echo in the halls of destiny, just as your pain carves space for deeper compassion. Salt leaves its mark. You are not walking unnoticed. Even if no one claps for you today, even if no one sees the progress you've made, the universe sees it. The heavens are watching and nodding in agreement. Yes, that one. That one is doing the work. There will be moments when you are tempted to return to what broke you simply because it is familiar. But do not go back to what burned you. Do not give your future to your fear. Walk forward, no matter how slow. Walk forward with salt in your shoes and fire in your chest. The path will rise to meet you. The right people, the right opportunities, the right growth, it will come. Not always on your timeline, but always on time. Your story is not over. It is still being written in the cracks of your courage and the corners of your choices. You are the author, the warrior, the sacred flame. Salt your shoes today, not for superstition, but for symbolism, not for magic, but for meaning. Let it be your declaration that today is the day you no longer wait for permission. Today is the day you own your journey. Today is the day you lace up your life with intention and step into the power of your own making. Life will test you. It will throw storms at your windows and heartbreak at your door. But storms do not mean you are cursed. They mean you are alive. They mean you are being refined. Salt is born of the sea. It knows storms. It survives them even as it is formed by them. So too shall you not only survive, you shall be made stronger, wiser, kinder, more courageous because of what you've walked through. Salt in your shoes is the silent anthem of those who do not quit. It is the battle cry of the quiet fighters, the unseen warriors, the dreamers who keep showing up. It says, I may not have all the answers, but I have faith enough for this step. It says, I have failed, but I am not a failure. It says, I am still here, and being here is a miracle in itself. There is nothing small about your becoming. Every choice to keep going, every tear wiped away in solitude, every time you stood back up when you had every reason to stay down, it is divine. Put salt in your shoes and let that divinity remind you, you matter, your dreams matter, your story matters. When the night is long and the burden heavy, when the voices of doubt grow loud and your heart grows quiet, reach for the salt. Ground yourself in your own resilience. Speak to your own spirit and say, I am not done. You don't need the world's permission to shine. You don't need applause to be significant. All you need is the courage to walk anyway. And when you reach the mountaintop, because you will, look back at the valley, at every place you thought would break you, at every shadow you walked through, and whisper a prayer of gratitude. For each of those places was a step in the journey. Each moment, a grain of salt that shaped your strength. Let today be the day you choose transformation over stagnation. Let today be the day you decide that your future deserves your feet. Let today be the day you salt your shoes and set out, not with fear, but with fire. Walk boldly, beloved. Walk proudly. Walk with purpose. And never forget, the ground you walk is sacred, not because of where it leads, but because you are the one walking it. Now go. Go with salt and go with grace. Put salt in your shoes, not because life is easy, but because life is real. Because there are days when it asks more of you than you think you have. Because there are nights when your dreams lie restless and trembling, afraid to be spoken aloud. Because in the corners of your quietest thoughts, there live doubts dressed in the clothes of logic. Put salt in your shoes, not to escape the pain, but to walk through it with dignity. There is no shame in the struggle. There is no dishonor in the journey. What matters is the walk. What matters is that you walk with intention, with grit, with grace. Salt doesn't melt under pressure. It keeps its form. And so must you. The world may try to reduce you, to dissolve you into what it finds convenient or comfortable, but your soul was not made to disappear. Your voice was not made to be hushed. Your fire was not made to flicker and fade in someone else's shadow. There is a space in this world that only you can fill, a song only you can sing, a story only you can tell. And yes, there are days when it seems like you are walking in circles, trudging the same hard ground, hearing the same tired inner doubts. But every circle you walk teaches you something. Every repetition sharpens your edge, deepens your compassion, strengthens your resolve. You are not standing still. You are seasoning your life. With every choice to try again, with every refusal to surrender to bitterness, with every small moment of choosing love over anger, you are salting your path with strength. There is transformation in the ordinary. There is power in the pause. Do not despise the days of small beginnings. Salt needs time to do its work. So do you. There will be moments, strange, quiet moments, when everything slows down and your breath catches in your chest. And in that stillness, a question will rise up like a whisper. Is this all I meant to be? And the answer, though not always loud, will come. No, you are still becoming. You are not finished. Your pain is not your final form. Your past is not your permanent home. Your potential is not buried. It is simply waiting for your belief. And sometimes belief feels like nothing more than showing up. Showing up when it hurts, when it's hard, when no one claps or even notices. But showing up is an act of defiance. It is sacred. It is holy. It is how legacies are built. The salt in your shoes is not a superstition. It is a signal to yourself that you are walking on purpose. You are walking not because the path is easy, but because the calling is worth it. You are walking because the dream you carry matters, not just to you, but to someone who hasn't yet found the courage to believe. You walk not only for yourself, but for the ones watching you from afar, hoping you'll make it so they know they can too. You may not always feel brave, you may not always feel worthy, but salt doesn't ask to be noticed. It does its work quietly, thoroughly, relentlessly. So must you. Let your courage be consistent. Let your hope be habitual. Let your resilience be relentless. The world does not need another loud boast. It needs quiet warriors who live their truth daily, without applause, without permission. And when grief finds you, and it will, put salt in your shoes. Walk through that valley with gentleness toward yourself. Do not rush your healing. Do not compare your pain to another's. Salt preserves, and sometimes preserving your own peace means letting yourself cry, letting yourself rest, letting yourself be human. There is no shame in falling apart. The shame would be in never trying again. You are allowed to break, but breaking is not the end. Even the earth must crack open for seeds to grow. You are allowed to stumble. But stumbling is not failing. It is how we learn the texture of resilience. You are allowed to be uncertain. But uncertainty is not weakness. It is the birthplace of possibility. Put salt in your shoes and step forward anyway, even if you don't know the outcome, even if you're scared, especially if you're scared. Because bravery is not the absence of fear. It is the decision that something else matters more. You matter more. Your dreams matter more. Your becoming matters more. The people who doubt you, they will fall silent when your becoming becomes undeniable. The people who left you, they made room for those who will love you right. The doors that closed on you, they were redirections, not rejections. And the voice inside you that sometimes says you're not enough, it's not the truth. It's just a wound talking. Put salt in your shoes and let every step be a sacred ceremony of your choosing. Choose healing over bitterness. Choose rising over retreating. Choose boldness over comfort. Let your life become a declaration that you did not come this far to stay small. You did not survive all you've survived to hide. You did not walk through fire to fear the flame within you. You will walk through places that others warned you against. You will try things that others failed at. And you will succeed in ways they never imagined. Not because you're better, but because you kept going. Because you kept salting your shoes with belief when it was hardest to believe. Because you found a way to honor the pain without becoming it. Let the salt in your shoes remind you that your destiny is not a distant shore. It's being built with every step you take. It's not waiting at the top of some mountain. It's forming beneath your very feet. You are not walking towards something as much as you are walking it into being. The more you step, the more the way reveals itself. So trust your step. Trust your heart. Trust the slow unfolding of your purpose. There will be people who don't understand why you do what you do. That's okay. Your vision wasn't given to them. It was given to you. Protect it. Nurture it. Speak it into life. And when you feel like giving up, whisper this to yourself. I've come too far to quit. I've fought too hard to fold. I've cried too many tears to not see what those tears were watering. Let salt be your reminder that you are enough. Not someday, not when things are better, but right now, as you are. With your cracks and your courage, your flaws and your fire. Salt reminds us that imperfection is part of the flavor. Don't wait to be perfect. Just walk. Just start. Just do the next right thing with the best you have. You are the prayer someone else is hoping gets answered. You are the evidence that healing is possible. You are the story that will be told long after you're gone. Not because you were the loudest, not because you had the most, but because you walked faithfully, relentlessly, humbly. Because you salted your path with courage when fear would have made more sense. So, salt your shoes today and again tomorrow. Salt them when you're strong and when you're broken. Salt them when you're full of joy and when you're drowning in doubt. Salt them when the world cheers and when it turns away. Walk not for them, but for you. Walk because your soul demands it. Walk because your purpose is louder than your pain. Walk because each step is an act of remembering who you really are. And when the day comes, and it will, when you look back over your shoulder and see the distance you've traveled, when you see the lives you've touched, the light you've left in the dark places, the legacy etched in moments others overlooked, you will know that it was never about being the biggest or the best. It was always about being true, true to yourself, true to the journey, true to the power that's always lived within you. That salt in your shoes, it wasn't magic, it was meaning, it was a vow, a promise to yourself that you would keep going, that you would rise again and again and again. So rise and walk. Your story is not over. It is still being seasoned. There is something beautiful, something quietly radical about a person who chooses to rise again when they have every reason to remain on the ground. It is not always grand, this rising. Sometimes it is quiet and trembling, a soft whisper to your own soul that says, so one more step. Sometimes it's not even a full stride forward, but a breath, a pause before movement returns. But even that pause is power. Even that moment of stillness is sacred. Because in that space between despair and decision, you are choosing life. You are choosing to believe that what lies ahead, no matter how uncertain, holds more possibility than what lies behind. That is what it means to put salt in your shoes. It is not about knowing all the answers. It is about trusting the journey even when the map is unclear. Salt is not gentle. It stings when it touches wounds. It burns when it presses into raw places. But it also heals. It cleanses. It protects. So do not run from the salt's sting in your life. The pain you feel when you face your truth is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to wake you. It is meant to strip away what no longer serves you, what weighs you down, what dims the fire in your chest. Put salt in your shoes and walk straight into the fire of your own healing. Walk into your truth, even if it shakes. Walk into your worth, even if it feels foreign. You are not the sum of what has happened to you. You are the sum of what you have chosen to become in the face of it. There are parts of yourself you buried because you thought they made you too much, too sensitive, too bold, too emotional, too loud, too soft, too different. But the very parts you silence may be the parts the world needs most. Salt those parts with acceptance. Welcome them back like long-lost friends. Honor your sensitivity as strength. Honor your boldness as clarity. Honor your difference as divine design. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to shake the ground, to awaken what has grown too quiet in others. When you walk with salt in your shoes, you walk with all of yourself, unapologetically, fearlessly, fully. And no, this path is not easy. It is not lined with comfort or convenience, but it is lined with meaning. It is etched with purpose. You will face moments where the weight feels unbearable, days when your heart feels too tender to keep opening, nights when you ache with loneliness, with longing, with the quiet ache of wanting more. But do not confuse loneliness with failure. Even the strongest trees grow alone in the wild. Even the fiercest rivers carve their paths without applause. Even the moon, in all her glory, waxes and wanes in solitude. Let your solitude be your sanctuary. Let it be the space where you hear your own voice again. Put salt in your shoes, and do not be afraid to walk alone for a while. Not everyone can come with you. Not everyone will understand the fire you carry. Some will try to dim it. Others will pretend they don't see it. But those who are meant to walk with you, they will feel your flame and fan it. They will not fear your growth. They will celebrate it. And until they arrive, walk with the ancestors. Walk with those who came before you, who survived storms you can't even name, who bled and wept and prayed you into existence. You are not walking alone. You are walking with a lineage of resilience. The salt in your shoes carries their memory, their grit, their sacred dreams. There's a kind of wisdom that only comes from breaking, from having your plans shattered, your heart cracked open, your pride humbled. Do not resist this wisdom. Let it find you. Let it teach you. The most powerful people are not those who never fall, but those who fall and still rise with grace. They rise with eyes that have seen darkness and still choose to seek light. They rise with hearts that have known betrayal and still choose to love. They rise with bodies that have been weary and still choose to move. That is strength. That is courage. That is the salt of the earth walking on two sacred feet. You are worthy of a life that reflects your deepest values, your truest voice, and that life may not look like what others expect. It may not fit neatly into boxes or timelines or tidy little plans. It may be messy and meandering, but it will be yours, authentically, wildly, beautifully yours. The salt in your shoes is not just for direction, it's for protection. It guards against comparison, against self-doubt, against the illusion that you must become someone else to be accepted. You are already enough. You are always enough. Not because of what you've achieved, but because of who you are at your core. That core is unshakable. That core is eternal. Put salt in your shoes every time you feel fear rise like a tide in your chest. Let it remind you that courage is not the absence of fear. It is the commitment to walk anyway. Let it remind you that you've been afraid before and still you moved. That you've faced unknowns before and still you learned. That you've been hurt before and still you healed. You are not a stranger to struggle. You are not a newcomer to perseverance. Every grain of salt is a testimony to your survival, your stamina, your sacred strength. There is a quiet revolution that happens when a person chooses to believe in themselves. When they stop waiting for permission. When they stop asking others to validate their vision. When they stop apologizing for the fire in their voice, the power in their presence. That revolution starts small. A whisper, a step, a shift in posture, a soft but steady yes. But over time, that small yes builds into a roar, a declaration, a life transformed not by grand events, but by daily decisions to keep walking, to keep choosing truth, to keep salting the path with faith. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to speak loudly, to love deeply, to want boldly. You are allowed to dream dreams that scare you, to make mistakes without shame, to begin again without explanation. Salt your shoes with compassion, with patience, with the unshakable belief that you are still becoming, still unfolding, still worthy. Let the world say what it will. Let it doubt you. Let it question you, but never let it define you. And when you walk into rooms where you feel unseen, unvalued, uninvited, walk anyway. Salt those floors with presence. Walk as though your ancestors are watching, because they are. Walk as though your future children are depending on you, because they are. Walk as though your life matters, because it does. You are here for a reason. You are not a mistake. You are not incidental. You are not here merely to survive. You are here to rise, to create, to inspire, to rebuild, to bloom. Your healing matters. Your joy matters. Your voice matters. You do not need to prove your worth. You only need to own it. Walk like you know the earth is blessed to carry your weight. Walk like you know the sky bends down to meet your gaze. Walk like you know that every closed door taught you how to find your own key. Walk like you know your scars sing lullabies of survival. Walk like you know that nothing, absolutely nothing, was wasted. Not the pain, not the detours, not the waiting. All of it is working for your good. Put salt in your shoes and walk out of whatever cage you've outgrown. Walk out of fear. Walk out of shame. Walk out of silence. Walk out of expectations that were never yours. Walk into your own light. Walk into the vast wild open of your becoming. It will not be comfortable, but it will be true. And truth, beloved, is the ground where freedom blooms. You don't have to see the whole path. You only need to see the next step. Salt your shoes. Take the step. Let the ground beneath you rise in reverence. Let the wind whisper your name in joy. Let your soul at long last exhale. This is your time. This is your turning. This is your becoming. And you, yes, you are ready. The world will often try to tell you who you are. It will hand you scripts written in fear, in scarcity, in doubt. It will whisper that you are too much or not enough, that your dreams are naive, that your heart is too tender for this harsh reality. And if you are not careful, you may begin to fold yourself into those stories. You may shrink to fit their comfort zones. You may silence your laughter, dim your light, water down your brilliance so others feel less threatened. But you did not come here to be small. You came here to be whole. You came here to embody the fullness of your voice, the power of your truth, and the depth of your becoming. So put salt in your shoes and walk back to yourself. Walk back to the child you used to be, the one who dreamed without apology, who believed without limit. Remember that child. They are still inside you. They're still waiting for you to say, "Sai, remember who we are. I haven't forgotten. I know now what we came here to do." And when you say that, something will shift. The ground will feel different beneath your feet. Your breath will deepen. And suddenly, every step becomes a homecoming. Every step becomes a reclamation. You are not walking towards some distant idea of success. You are walking home to yourself. And yes, you will fail. Not once, not twice, but many times. You will say the wrong thing. You will trust the wrong people. You will fall for illusions and chase empty promises. And you will grieve. But grief does not mean you were wrong to love. Failure does not mean you were foolish to try. These are the holy bruises of a life fully lived. These are the sacred scars of someone who was not content to merely exist, but who dared to reach. The salt in your shoes is for those days when your heart feels heavy with disappointment, when you wonder if you have the strength to risk again. It is in those moments that the salt does its best work. It reminds you that you are still here, still walking, still worthy. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not broken beyond repair. The timeline that the world tries to impose is not the one you must follow. There is no age by which you must have it all figured out. There is no finish line to rush toward. Life is not a race. It is a rhythm. It is a sacred unfolding. Some seasons will be fast, others slow. Some will bloom with beauty, others will break you open. But all of them are part of your becoming. Trust the rhythm. Trust the pauses. Trust the slow work of salt. It is not flashy. It is not loud. But it is faithful. It knows what it is doing. Put salt in your shoes and walk with your whole self. Your courage and your fear. Your strength and your sorrow. Your passion and your pain. Do not try to cut pieces of yourself off just to be accepted. The right spaces will never ask you to abandon your soul. The right people will never make you feel like your power is a threat. When you walk in truth, the wrong things will fall away. And though that falling may feel like loss, it is also liberation. It is space being cleared for what truly belongs to you. And what belongs to you cannot be lost. It cannot be stolen. It cannot be kept from you. Your destiny has your name written in the ink of eternity. There will be days when you want to go back, when the unknown ahead feels too vast and the pain of growth feels too much to bear. But remember this, everything you've overcome was once something you thought would break you. Every mountain you've climbed was once too high. Every fear you faced was once too loud. And yet here you are, still walking, still becoming, still salting the path with intention and hope. The truth is, there is no final arrival point. No single moment where you suddenly feel complete, immune to doubt, forever fearless. Life does not work that way. Healing is not linear. Growth is not a straight line. You will revisit old wounds, return to familiar fears, walk again through the valley you thought you left behind, but each time you'll carry more wisdom. Each time your steps will be steadier. Each time your voice will carry the echoes of all the times you chose to keep going. This is how we become. Not all at once, but moment by moment, breath by breath, step by sacred step. And somewhere in a corner of the world, there is someone watching you, someone who sees you rising each day, even when it's hard, someone who is drawing courage from your walk. You may never know their name, you may never meet them, but your story is lighting their path. Your resilience is reminding them they are not alone. Your salt is seasoning more than your own journey. It is flavoring the lives of others in ways you cannot yet see. So do not give up, not now, not when you've come so far, not when your footsteps are being written into the fabric of time. You are not just walking for today, you are walking for the generations to come. You are walking for the ones who are still finding their voice, for the ones who never got the chance to walk, for the ones who poured their dreams into your bloodstream. There is power in your presence, power in your pain, power in your perseverance. And when the day comes that you feel the joy bubbling up again, not forced, not borrowed, but real, let it come. Do not question it. Do not minimize it. Let yourself laugh without explanation. Let yourself dance even if the wounds are still healing. Let yourself feel the warmth of the sun and then know that you have earned every ray. The joy is not a reward for being perfect. It is your inheritance. It is the promise made to those who endure. Let yourself receive it. Let it wash over you. Let it remind you of who you are when you are not performing, not pretending, not proving, just being. Put salt in your shoes and know that you are enough. Not someday, not after, now, as you are, with your dreams and doubts, with your questions and your faith, with your weary bones and your burning spirit. You are enough. Walk like it, speak like it, love like it, lead like it. And if you falter, if you fall, if you forget, put salt in your shoes again and start over. There is always room to begin again. There is always grace for those who are willing to rise. And when the final chapters are written, when the last sunset comes and your soul prepares to return to the stars, may it be said of you, They walked their path with fire in their eyes and tenderness in their hands. They salted their steps with meaning. They lived with fierce love. They gave more than they took. They became everything they were born to be. So go ahead, lace up your shoes, pour the salt, and walk. This world has never seen anyone quite like you. Let it.